Hi there.
Hello.
Good to see you. Why don't you come in, have a look around?
Yeah, welcome to the London Coliseum. My name's Laurie Steiner. I'm the head of the flying department here at English National Opera. I've worked here for 32 years, 15 years as the person in charge of the flying department.
I'm Bill Harrison. I'm in charge of stage systems for English National Opera. I'm a new boy. I've worked here for 9 years and loved every minute of it. Oh, and there's a comedy horse as well, of course. I would say we, more than anybody else, go up and down the stairs in here.
Yeah.
We're down here a lot, we're up there a lot, we're on the gantry levels midway a lot.
Also as well, we're sort of specialists in our field, if you like, so people ask us a lot of questions and sometimes it involves going to have a look at what you're being asked about. So it could be anywhere in the stage area, in the stage house.
And we ask each other as well.
Of course, yeah.
We're often calling each other down to each other's work to ask.
But also as
opinions.
well, we have days where or weeks where we don't see each other at all. We just don't meet up.
Ships
in the night. We just pass and don't, or we might say hello and that's about it. Because we're always off doing things, doing jobs. So yeah.
I look after the infrastructure of the theatre and make sure all the equipment in the space functions, is serviced, is safe. We both look after the technical moving bits in the shows that we do and the operas that we do.
The things that I have to deal with is basically anything that goes in the air. So it could be scenery or lighting, it could be a cloth.
Not just though, is it?
No, not at all.
I mean, your department also looks after stuff like automation as well.
Absolutely, yes we do.
We're just about to do a production of Porgy and Bess, which is a co-production with Amsterdam and New York, and it's a huge revolve. And that I'm looking at the installation and repping of that huge bit of kit. Laurie's got to store it, and that's big lumps of like 5 tons and 3.5 tons, which he's got to get up in the air and get out of the way for the next show to come in underneath.
But also, as well, it's like a logistics thing, so it's having to move scenery around just so that you can get these things up in the air. And it's what we do is we have to talk about how we're going to get into the air, how safe is the procedure going to be, whether or not the hanging points are rated correctly. It's all sort of things that are engineering based. Bill is our engineering expert within the company, and basically he's the one who says if it's fit to fly or if it's fit to work on stage, and we work together to make it work. Lots of times we bang heads a few times, but that's what happens. It's how you get to the process or through the process of getting things to work properly.
And problem solving. I mean, that's what all this crap on the board here is. It's us talking through stuff that we've got to achieve, how we're going to do it. Sometimes the concept of the show has arrived and we can see what it looks like. We just don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah. Flying is flying anything above the stage. So anywhere in the stage area that involves things lifting from the stage to either out of view or into the air.
We call them up and down department.
Up and downers, yeah, yeah. So this is an area that's off limits to most people, but with authorisation you're allowed to come out here. This is technical area that people don't usually get to access.
Okay, Laurie, can you take the front cloth out, please?
Certainly. Okay.
This is where the hydraulic rams are that run the safety curtain and the tabs, which we were looking at the pumps earlier. And we don't want to go too close because it's very complicated, and we have to check it just for things like leaks to make sure there's no slack cable, and we just need to run it once and have a look. So I'll just get Sham, are you standing by?
Yes, I am.
Could you turn the pumps on, please?
Yep.
This is the area that I'm responsible for, everything that flies in the air. At the moment we've got a Midsummer Night's Dream on stage, and that has got 3 suspended beds, just like regular beds with blankets and sheets and pillows, and they have to fly in and out during the show, and they have to pick up like the top blanket of a massive bed on the underside, and that's like a coordinated move with programmed motors. So it's automation. So at the moment we're about 15-16 metres above the stage level, and there's still sort of 5-6 metres above us to the grid area, which we'll be going and visiting in a short while. One of the things that we have to take care of up here are the lighting bridges. One of the things that we have to service on a regular basis is the lighting department. We have to make sure that all of the lights are in the right place, and what we sometimes have to do is braille things up and down stage to achieve the right positions. We've got, in some of the shows, we've got cloths that are sort of quite bright, and they become like the backdrop to a lot of the other shows as well, as like a light bounce. This cloud cloth is used in Iolanthe, but they actually use it to bounce light off of in La Traviata. So that's quite nice. My parents both worked in theatre. My mum did a bit of dressing. My dad worked on stage, and then moved on to electrics. And I always swore that I would never work in theatre because he always used to sort of be tired, and he always used to sort of say, "Oh, I've had a hard day." But then when my uncle said to me, "Why don't you sort of come and give it a go, it's really quite fun," I just thought, well, my dad always said it's hard work, and I wasn't too sure. But I came and had a go working on props for a show called Orpheus in the Underworld, and that's 32 and a half years ago. And yeah, I've never looked back. I fell in love on that first day that I started working here, and yeah, it's just been one year after another, and it's sort of grown to 32 plus.
I started at school, in school plays, all that sort of stuff, and had a great drama teacher, really good drama teacher, and he encouraged small touring companies to come to the school, and I used to help them fit up, and just fell in love with it straight away, and then used to go and visit them at little venues when they were going to other venues. One of the companies phoned the school and said, "We've got a work experience programme working on stage management. We think it would be ideal for Bill." So I left school and went and did that, and never looked back. Been doing it ever since, 35 years.
Fantastic. Do you want this cloth back in again?
We do, please, yeah.
Okay, any speed in particular?
Oh, anything you like.
I would say that no 2 days are the same. Every day is entirely different to the next. The one thing that's consistent is that you don't get to have your breaks at the same time every day. That's consistent. But you get to work with people who are in exactly the same boat, and so you sort of work with each other. It's really that simple.
I get my 2 hours in the morning. That's fairly that's a bit of routine for me. I have that. The things that I do within that are different, but we've got this thing. We live our lives by the advanced technical schedule, which marks every single day into morning, afternoon and evening, and any night work that's happening, any outside rehearsals that are happening, the transport that's needed. So our days are
They're blocked.
on this.
They're blocked.
So it's always usually around what's going on here. But once again, it may lurch off, and if there's something wrong on stage, it may have nothing to do with this. It may have to go and do with that. So every day is different. 50% of our job is problem solving.
Yeah.
So we're always learning, and we have to find new ways of doing things. Sometimes it's like Steven Spielberg, and sometimes it's like Blue Peter with sticky back plastic. But you'll never know it all. Nobody knows it all. Our two jobs collide with this system because I look after it and maintain it, and Laurie uses it. So
Yeah, we're the people that operate.
so if something's broken, they don't fix it. They come crying to me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's your job, isn't it?
Oof.
One of the things that a lot of people don't like in theatre is height. So if we're up quite high, hopefully everyone will be okay. But unfortunately, when you work in the flies, you're at height and you haven't got a choice about it. So having a healthy fear of heights is okay, but to be scared of heights probably isn't good if you're working up here. Right.
After you.
Well, thank you, sir.
This is the roof, the highest point. It's where all the steel work is for suspending all the weight and we hang a lot of weight.
It's the grid.
Yeah, the grid.
This is the grid area above the stage.
This is the storage area, so there's not a lot happening. But as you get further down towards the playing area, as you can see, it gets quite thick with chain hoists.
Chain hoist. You'll see lots of green strops, which are 2-ton strops. Different lengths. You'll also see long link chains.
There's lots of cabling up here as well. Those bridges, the lighting bridges, all have to be fed with quite a lot of power and data, and they run through the cables here, which are on sprung reelers.
We are about 22 metres from the stage. Yeah, so yeah, it's quite a bit. Patience is a big thing, and understanding of what you're actually doing. Lots of people say, oh yeah, we're just going to fly that out the way, and you say, well, hold on, have you thought about the process? Have you thought about how that has to lift? Have you thought about whether it is a 2-stage lift? Does it have to fly at a certain speed? Does it have to get to a certain point by a certain time? Can it be done manually, i.e. pulling a rope? Or does it have to go onto a chain hoist and then be programmed to move out? Or can it be done by the push of a button? There's lots of things you have to consider, certainly with lots of our scenery, or lots of scenery in every theatre. It's got to be considered what it is and how you are going to fly it. So yeah, that's quite a big thing.
Endurance. I think sometimes you go through. You were saying about your dad coming home tired.
Yeah.
And we'll go. It's sometimes they're long hours, not always, and it comes in fits and starts. But it's not the sort of thing you can just walk away from. If you've not finished, you haven't finished. And our deadlines are you can't move them because the audience are going to be outside waiting to come in. So that can't be moved. The tickets have been sold.
Yeah.
So there is no leeway there. So if it means you have to throw everything at it, then you have to throw everything at it, and that might mean working all night. And sometimes you have to work around the show. So if I want to do something on stage with something to do with the infrastructure, the safety curtain or something like that, then I may have to do it overnight. When we get the mobile elevated work platforms and things serviced, that's done overnight.
And inspections as well.
Yeah.
Inspections for like lifting gear or safety equipment. That all has to be done out of the normal work hours. Yeah.
So you've got to be prepared to work funny hours, weekends. evenings.
Unsociable hours.
Unsociable
really.
hours.
Unsociable hours.
But it's not unsociable really, because of course we socialise at work as well as working. There's still the fun to be had. So
very often it's like, yeah, the people that you're working with are your family, because you spend a lot of time with them, and if you don't get on, that's really difficult. So you try and get on with everybody you work with. It's just the best way to be.
Yeah.
And just remember.
Yeah, the kitchen's all up and running, Trev.
Oh, the kitchen's up and running. Well, we're all right then. I'd recommend it for anybody who wants to enjoy work. I feel so sorry for people who don't know what they want to do. I mean, I know people of my age that still don't know what they want to do with their life. As soon as I got bitten by this, I always knew what I wanted to do, and I still know what I want to do. I've still got the same passion. In fact, I think it's more now than when I first started.
Well, the thing is, you've got more knowledge now, so you've got more skills, so you can actually use those a lot more. Widespread.
Well, I'm working for an organisation that allows me to do that.
Absolutely,
well, so.
Yeah. One of the things I would say is that enthusiasm. I mean, that people that are enthusiastic will always thrive in this business. They really will, because it's just something that people like to see. I love to see somebody who's excited to be here. I love to see it if they're showing an interest, and I will explain more things to that person and hopefully share a bit of knowledge with them. But enthusiasm is a huge thing for me. So we've got here the Act 3 ceiling for La Traviata. It weighs about, or just over 2 tonnes. It's got 4 1-tonne chain hoists in its storage position, just because it has to go through a manoeuvre where it goes from its vertical position to a horizontal position and then into its show position. It has different moves that it has to do, and during the act, it starts in a low 1 metre from the floor position, and then it has to lift up, so it's 4 metres at the downstage, 2 metres on the upstage, then it has to lift out even higher, so it's about 9 metres on the downstage, 3 metres on the upstage, so it goes through a transition of lift and angle. It's something that's programmed into the computer, and it's quite simple to do that programming, but to get to that point, the director made us go through that motion about a dozen times. The sheets and the pillowcases come off and get washed every day, every time, and freshly laundered, and they get ironed so that it looks like a new bed each time. And then they fold the blankets and steam the blankets separately. Just so that it looks like it's a newly made bed. And it's that sort of level of detail each time that we have to deal with. Not me personally, but people will be dressing the props and the linen, bed linen. When people ask me, what do I do? And I explain about the theatre, they say, but where's the appeal? And I say, well, look, if you treat your whole life like going to school, what I do is playtime. So it's the bit in the middle of the day that you enjoy the most at school. But that's what I always tell people.
When we first met, it was a Raw Variety when I came into the Raw Variety. And after the show, Laurie came down and he was shaking like that. And he just said, that is the best thing I have ever done in my life.
The experience of it was amazing. It was such a nice experience. It was something different to what I was used to. And it was working in a different way with different people for a television show. And it was just an amazing experience. And yeah, Bill was one of the main parts of that. Just the way that we worked together was just really, really easy. And it just makes you want to work with people like Bill, because he's really good to have around.
It's not an easy thing to do. In any other job, if you were working under that kind of stress, it would be a negative thing, but it's not. It's a positive.
It's euphoric.
The buzz you get from it,
euphoric.
From achieving
that. You do feel a buzz.
Yeah, fantastic. Nice to see you.
Come back soon. Bye. You're supposed to shut the door.
No, shut the door.
We do that. Supposed to shut the door and move and walk away.
I thought you said don't shut the door. Shut the door.
Shut the door.